Hello, everybody, and welcome back to First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me this week, we've got Joe.
Hey, man.
And Jimmy.
What's up, pasta pals?
Well, hello, my spaghetti... I was going to say spaghetti spouse.
Ooh,
but that's what your wife calls you, Jimmy.
That's
My
not
spaghetti
what she
spouse.
calls me. Calls me a lot of things, but not spaghetti spouse.
Well, hope
Make
you're
it happen.
listening, Dr. Michelle.
I'll make it happen.
Rolls off the tongue.
What was the thing the other week? For a second, I got nervous. Like, wait, was I here last week? Did I listen to it?
Yeah.
Pizza. What is it? Pepperoni pizza.
Pineapple on.
Pineapple pizza. Pineapple pizza.
Yeah, just say it every week from now on.
Pizza pals. Pizza and pasta pals. Oh, man. You guys remember pizza and pasta?
Yeah.
Did you ever have that?
Is that a local chain? Joe, you've never heard of that?
Maybe
Yeah,
it-
I mean,
maybe it was.
I know those words, but like the actual restaurant was just called Pizza and Pasta, like
Yeah.
straight to the chase.
Yeah. It
Those
was
are
a
the things that we do.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up in, me and Jimmy grew up in the same town,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't even know how far out that chain went.
Yeah,
Maybe only in the surrounding suburbs.
I mean, I've known a lot of places that had pizza and pasta. Did they have like hoagies or?
Probably.
I don't recall.
When I was like 12, I just wanted pizza.
Hmm.
I didn't even want the pasta.
I feel like the chain does not
Stopped
exist.
listening at pizza.
Right. You had me at
Fuck
pizza.
off with this pasta, man.
Pizza and let's order it.
Well, I messed with some pasta.
Pizza in my mouth.
.com.
.com.
I'm sure that's already taken.
.gov.
Well,
Pizzainmymouth.com.
.edu.
I'm not
This
gonna.
is a
I'm not even
university.
gonna try.
It's worth a try. It's
Okay.
worth a try. I'll report back.
All right. Well, while you're checking that out, Joe, can you also explain to us what First and Last is? Because it's
Same
definitely
time.
not your premier pizza and pasta podcast.
We take a TV show, one a week, sometimes two. Just kidding, just one a week. And we watch the first episode and then skip straight to the end. And those are the only two episodes we watch. In between, we make predictions. At the end, we see how we did. It's mostly just to see, how a show evolved over 100 episodes or 10 episodes or however long it ran. A lot of times it's very different. A lot of times it's pretty much the same. But we're mostly just lost. And we bumble through what we know of the show.
Yeah, that could be correct. This week it's my show, and I picked one.
Nice.
And I feel
Good
like
start.
everyone's heard of it, for sure.
Okay.
But I'm not sure
Seinfeld.
how much of this either one of you have actually seen.
Mm.
So, I've seen handful of them, quite a few, but there is over 250 over 250 of these episodes.
Oh,
so
wow.
Shoot.
you haven't seen them all, I can guarantee you that.
Robot chicken.
No, but you're on the right path.
Okay. Squidbillies. Wasn't that a Adult Swim? Is it an Adult Swim show?
It's definitely Cartoon Network,
Okay.
but
Oh.
and I would put it on Adult Swim if I was booking it.
Powder Puff Girls. What is it? Powerpuff, not Powder Puff.
No, they're powder.
Powerpuff
Aren't they
Girls,
powdered
isn't it?
puffed?
No, they're not powdered.
They're Power Puffs?
They're not powdered women.
I think that's the play on words. It's like it's powder puff, but no, they're power puff.
Oh.
they're superheroes.
Well, it's not that
So
show,
apparently
so
not.
it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
What about the Samurai Jack? Is that
No, I mean, the listeners already know the show.
Bru-
So,
Specifically,
Bruno, what's
dial
that- what's
M
that
for
guy?
monkey.
no, it's Venture Time.
Oh, yes. Okay. Awesome. Excellent. I'm in.
Okay.
I will stay. for
Joe?
this.
Yeah, you nailed you nailed what my experience with this show is. It's like I've heard of it. I think I've seen the art. That's about it.
Okay.
Oh, I've definitely seen some of this. I've definitely seen like a season or two. And I know that one of the writers of it is now a star on Rob McElhenney's Mythic Quest.
Oh, one
Have
of
you
the...
seen that show?
I have not yet. One of the writers or creators or...
I think she's just a writer. I should know her name. I think it's Rachel something.
Okay.
Rachel Weisz. No, that's not correct. I think she was supposed to be a writer on Mythic Quest, which, if you guys haven't seen, it's like an Apple Plus show, and it's hilarious.
Last week.
And I think she was supposed to be just a writer on it, but then she ended up. Ashley Birch is her name.
Oh, I love Ashley Birch. She voice acts Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah,
and various other video games.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I know who Ashley Birch is.
But she's a writer
great.
on Adventure Time.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Right?
If that's true, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure it's true.
I hope it's true. I hope you're right. Well, Joe, just so you know, and this is only for Joe, so stop listening, everybody else. This went 10 seasons. It went, gotta move in, 283 episodes.
Man, that blows my mind.
It went from April 5th, 2010 to September 3rd, 2018.
Wow.
There is also some other stuff. Some people might say it's not over yet. But I think Adventure Time as a series ended, and now there is, I think in 2020, 2021, there is some sort of like
Distant
Adventure
Lands
Time,
is the
New Adventures or something. I don't know what it's called.
The next
Distant
class.
Lands.
Yeah, Adventure Time.
The college years.
It's called
Age of
it's called-
Apocalypse.
It's called Distant Lands.
This would probably tell me. It was primarily then on Cartoon Network. Let's see if I can.
Distant Lands, it's called.
According to Wikipedia, it's been on a jet and some trains. That's one. What do you think Adventure Time is about?
Well, I guess I assume it's fantasy.
Okay.
I know it's animated, but I assume it's fantasy, like some sort of like Dungeons and Dragons shit. There's swords, there's wizards, there's adventure.
Let me label off the 5 genres it's in. Science fiction or science fantasy.
Okay.
Adventure, surreal comedy, coming of age, and comedy drama. Those are all 5. It's in all 5 of those categories at all times.
Cool.
So Ashley Birch was a writer and did a bunch of voices as well.
Yeah, that would surprise me.
Pizzaandmymouth.com is not taken, so if you want to sign up for that.
Got
Heard it here.
As long as we're giving updates.
Starting in 2020, a series of specials collectively called Adventure Time Distant Lands has been released on HBO Max. So that's the new kind of. It's just kind of like maybe it's a little.
It's like a mini
like
series.
Cool.
Is what IMDb
speaking
says.
of miniseries, I assumed this show like was just like a cult show that ran for like 2 seasons and was over. I'm surprised it ran for, you said 10 seasons, 283 episodes?
Yeah, it was a cult show that everyone loved so much that it literally went forever.
It's just funny to think of a cult show that like still went 10 seasons, but still nobody paid attention to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it helps because it was on like Comedy Central and not
or Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network, and it was probably on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And those shows can just go forever because then those
Because what do they get paid? There's no budget. You don't have to pay
Yeah, and it's animated, so it's it's cheaper. Like
exactly.
So you don't need to.
They might have paid for 10 seasons up front.
Exactly. You can,
$20.
You can get by on a cult following and go for 10 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, I bet that's true. That like adult cartoons, that kind of niche, it's easier to get legs. It's easier to be a Simpsons and never die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I would say somehow Simpsons is still alive. Of course, Adventure Time can be on for 10 seasons on Cartoon Network.
Because you said they're like super short episodes.
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, the first episode of this show is 11 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's part of, there was that like section of like Cartoon Network where it was like 11 minutes. Like Ren and Stimpy in a way.
Swim.
Like it was like Ren and Stimpy, and then halfway through the show it was just like a different cartoon for a little bit. And then it was like Ren and Stimpy were back. Almost think of it like that, where it was like, I think they were there had 11 minutes And then like the next 22 minutes of the half an hour was just like a different cartoon almost.
Yeah, like that's what like Adult Swim is generally it's like it's every half hour slot is really broken up into 2 15-minute slots, and that's where you have Robot Chicken and Aqua Teen Hunger Force and all those. They're all less than 15 minutes because of commercials.
Yep.
So you can just fly through them.
Can't believe we haven't done Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh man,
I've never seen that show.
Stay tuned next week, friends.
A lot of people have like quoted it to me, but I've like never seen it before.
First few seasons of that are just great.
It's a really good show. It's ridiculous.
They're just giving them away.
Are you quoting Aqua Teen?
Apparently.
Huh.
Apparently.
I can't place that one, but I'm sure it's true.
It's like they're giving away beans or something. It's just like, no, they're just giving them away.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So any listeners that saw Adventure Time and are excited about it, I'm gonna tell Joe like 2 characters, and I know there's a slew of other very important characters in the show. But I'm just gonna tell you there it focuses on 2 main characters, which are Jake, and Finn, and Jake the dog.
Okay, got a dog.
Yeah. And it's the show is about their adventures.
Okay. So Finn is the human, right?
Finn is a human.
Finn is a human, and he's like 15, and he goes to high school, and he's a super nerd and super lame. And then one day, him and his dog, Jake
is the dog's name.
Him and his dog, Jake, get sucked into a fantasy book that he was reading that gets struck by lightning. And now he's within this novel.
Isn't that a Macaulay Culkin movie?
Yeah, probably. And now he needs to like survive and become the hero that he was the entire time.
Yeah, I will tell you right now, I think you've imposed a little too much of the real world into this already.
Too real?
You got a little too real. So there was, and we can maybe debate about this, but I think what I want to do is there was a pilot that happened on apparently Nicktoons, which is odd. In January 11th, 2007. It was entitled Pilot.
That kind of surprises me.
And then season 1 proper started in April of 2010 on the Cartoon Network. So what I'm proposing, and I'm sure what Hulu, which is where this is available, is also going to propose, is that we start with season 1, episode 1, instead of the pilot. Because I don't know if I've ever even seen that weird random like pilot that obviously never got picked up.
Yeah, I mean, we've skipped a lot of like random pilots, and
is that even on whatever we're gonna watch?
Yeah,
this
I was
on?
gonna say a lot of times those actual pilots are hard to find.
Yeah.
Oh, and like, just really quick. So the pilot's name was called Adventure Time, and it says Penn, later renamed Finn, and Jake try to rescue Princess Bubblegum from the Ice King.
Princess Bubblegum.
So that's what happened in January of 2007.
And that was on Nicktoons? Is that what you said?
That was on Nicktoons.
That surprises me. Because what I remember of the show is that I thought it was just a thing that people got high and watched this show.
Yeah. You want to do that right now? But so I think, Joe, I think you know so little about it that I want to just get into this 11-minute episode.
Yeah.
And then I want a stream of consciousness from you.
How much am I going to be able to learn in 11 minutes?
I think I know what episode we're about to watch.
Mind will be blown.
Okay.
Can I just tell you, The Page Master is the Macaulay Culkin movie, and the description is: a cowardly boy who buries himself in accident statistics enters a library to escape a storm, only to be transformed into an animated illustration by the Page Master. And he has to work through obstacles from classic books to return to real life.
Did you say accident statistics?
Yeah. What a horrifying child.
He's like afraid of everything, and then he tells you this statistic of why to be afraid. Also, Christopher Lloyd is starring in this movie. You never seen this?
Christopher Lloyd.
It's like mostly animated movie.
Christopher Lloyd, just really quick. Christopher Lloyd made me think of Christopher Lambert, the guy from Highlander.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that when they did sword fighting in the original 1986 Highlander movie, that they attached car batteries to the swords so that when they hit each other, they would spark?
That seems dangerous.
That rules.
Isn't that insane?
Dang.
There's no way you could do that today. And it is awesome. And now I just found out I can hook my car battery to a sword.
Just slap them
And
together.
apparently I'll be fine. Okay, so we're going to watch the first episode that came out in April 2010 from Adventure Time. It is called Slumber Party Panic.
Dope.
And we'll be back after that. And we're back. We're done with the first episode of Adventure Time, which was called Slumber Party Panic.
SPP.
Ooh. You had me with the first 2 words, and the last one, oh boy.
Really
Man.
reeled you in.
Panic.
That's how you know it's a dark comedy.
Panic at the slumber party. Panic!
Exclamation
point. The slumber party.
This is not a cheap emo band from 2008.
Is that how you become an emo band? You just put some punctuation in your name?
I guess it's a good way to start.
Let's start a band, guys.
It's not going to hurt.
Semisonic.
First,
colon.
exclamation point, ampersand, last.
Become semicolon, the semisonic cover band. So the write-up is when Princess Bubblegum brings dead candies to life, Jake must distract everyone with a fake sleepover. And the show's 11 minutes long, so that's all that happens.
But it's not even Jake, it's Finn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Who wrote this? This is like on the... Well, you're right, it's Finn. Jake's not even in on it until he gets Finn... Well, he's trying to get Finn to tell him what's going on because he's like, this is something's weird here with this fake sleepover. And then, but Finn has promised Princess Bubblegum that he won't tell. A royal promise, which is apparently a magically binding promise.
Mm-hmm.
Damn straight.
So then Finn comes up with this plan. He tells everyone in the whatever magic world this is.
They were in the Bubblegum Kingdom.
In the Bubblegum Kingdom for the moment,
Yeah.
sure.
So yeah, they awaken these zombies, but then like Princess Bubblegum says that if the townspeople like see them, then they will like pop.
If they know, they'll
get
get too excited and then they'll explode.
Yeah.
Because
Which
that's
the,
what Bubblegum
Gravedigger
people
guy
do.
does.
The citizens of the Bubblegum Kingdom.
So that's the premise of bringing them all to the castle so that they can like keep track of all them while they figure out what to do about the zombies.
Yeah. So then Finn gets them all to blindfold themselves and tells them that he's hanging up what do they call piñatas, but they're not going to hit the living talking piñata that's hanging from the wall.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Why would you beat the hell out of a living piñata?
Somehow. Also, did he make the piñata wear a blindfold? I didn't catch that.
I mean, probably, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know
her.
if the piñata was wearing one, but maybe since the piñata wasn't like a baked good,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't
gonna
wasn't
explode.
like adhering to all the rules of exploding if it gets too excited.
So my question was, Jake is not a baked item either. He's a dog.
Jake would have been fine.
Talking sentient dog. Why didn't Finn just tell him right away? I mean, obviously for
Well, because
plot
he made
purposes.
a royal promise not to tell anybody.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
but
and,
eventually
like-
he told them.
Yeah, but like you tell one person a secret, Jake might tell people. Like,
Yeah. Sure.
can't risk leaks.
Yeah. But so then he tells him, so they're all swinging at these piñatas, but really it's the zombies coming after
Mhm.
them, and they murder all these zombies.
Undead, it's like they're undead, like
their
friends
family
and
and
family.
Yeah, it's literally zombies.
They
Townfolk.
re-murdered all their friends and family unknowingly, and then Finn's like,
And then started
cool,
eating
we did
them.
it."
I want to point out they started eating their insides.
Yeah, with
like
blindfolds on.
candy and other stuff like fell out. So they're just
Apparently,
eating it up.
undead candy is just filled with good candy you can still eat, which seems like, why would you bury that then? You know? But so then Finn's like, okay, cool, we're good. They're all dead. And then he told Jake the secret. And then some giant, like, gumball gods swooped in. And Princess Bubblegum was like, what the hell?
She might have. God, I was trying to think. Maybe they were called the Gumball Guardians or something like that.
Ooh, I like that.
She said their name really fast, really quick.
I could see that. But then
two giant sentient
problem.
Yeah, two giant sentient gumball machines like come and take him to like put judgment on him because he had broken the royal promise. But yeah, then they give him a math problem. Which like the first one that they tried to do was like it's like super like algebraic and like lots of lines of the equation. And then he's like, no, wait, that wasn't the one I meant to do.
Yeah.
And then pulls out another one that's like 2 + 2.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I didn't mean that one. And then he gave him like the one that was just like nothing.
They are the Gumball Guardians.
That's what they're called?
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, Maria Bamford is one of the voices. Well, several.
Oh, she was
she
was Manfred. She was the
which one was
the unicorn?
the pinata.
Pinata.
Oh, okay.
That was the
She's
Manfred.
a few Anyway, she's the only person that I recognize on this cast, on this voice list.
In this episode.
So because he beat their math problem, their like gumball machine heads, glass heads explode for some reason, and then the timeline is like reset. So I don't really quite understand to what point it was reset to, but then Princess is like, oh, 4, like 2 + 2 is 4. 4 is the number I needed for my equation to fix this. What was her formula called? Her like potion called? It was like cadaver. No, that's not it. Something where she's bringing back people to life, but
not. I don't even remember what
not so they're undead.
I just remember that she was like, "Oh yeah, 4. I was just too smart to realize it was so easy," or something like that.
Yeah, and so then she just makes all the zombies come back to real life.
Yeah, and then all their friends and family are back alive that they just beat to death again.
Everyone's just alive now. Seems interesting.
And then she was like trying to teach Finn, like, see, Finn, now you know what happens when you break a royal promise, is that they were trying to have like a moral of the story. And then he was like, yeah, I get to fight zombies and defeat gumball guardians and go
have a
be
great
an
time.
adventure. And she's like, ugh, never mind.
No, she's like, okay, but don't break your promises, Kate. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a show for children.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that like I don't see a child following any of this.
Oh yeah, I mean,
well, that's kind of why it is like that means it's a perfect show for children, because then your dad can get crazy high sitting while he's babysitting the little kid.
That's kind of what I was thinking, is like, again, I haven't seen the rest of the show, but at least for this first episode, like I could totally picture this on like Nicktoons, that there's a lot of those like later shows that were on Nickelodeon, like what's the
Real Monsters.
Yeah, even like I hadn't thought of that one, but that and like Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life, where like there's clearly a lot of stuff in there like for adults, but there's enough of like basic kid stuff that they could get into. Like this, there's like a talking dog and like
just an adventure,
just like silly adventure stuff, and like there are like some humor things that like a kid wouldn't get, that they're just sort of like, not even that it's like, a deep adult reference, but it's just like adult silliness that a kid would just be like, I don't really get that. Like, like when they give him a different equation, like this one was really hard, and then we just give him another one. Like, I don't know. That's like a silly adult thing that you're just like, oh, of course, like it's not going to be that hard, but a kid's just like, oh yeah, he's solving it. Great.
He did it.
I know that one.
Anakin would be happy because a lot of kids probably would be like 4.
Yeah, maybe they're teaching kids math in this.
Like I totally
Subtly.
see this like hitting, at least for this first episode, like really hitting for like 10 to 12-year-olds.
And Finn is like almost like disgustingly positive, throughout the whole thing. Like his tone is always so happy and positive, even when he's like freaking out. Mm-hmm. So it kind of has that like everything's okay, kids, like the whole time, even though when there's like crazy things happen, he's like,
even though there's zombies immediately in this show.
Yeah, there are zombies immediately. Yeah. So it's got a good thing. Yeah, but I mean, Joe, what was your what were your thoughts? It obviously is pretty out there in a way.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I pictured this for like preteens, 10 to 13 years old. But like I think it's like quality. Like it's not dumb. It doesn't like there's a lot of like fantasy silliness, but none of it is like frustratingly dumb or anything. Like it's more of just like kind of out there humor, and it's like I could see like an adult enjoying this as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it ending up on Adult Swim in just like 15-minute segments late at night, like totally makes sense.
I just looked it up. The official, so according to, let's see, age of target audience of the Adventure Time, official target audience for Adventure Time is boys 2 to 11.
Oh, man.
According to TV by the Numbers, the show was rated number 1 for the following demographics on all Monday Night Network television among boys 2 to 11, 6 to 11, and 9 to 14.
What time did the show run? 2 to 11-year-olds were watching Adult Swim?
I mean, the show was recently nominated. I don't know when this is off like
Internet?
sci-fi.stackexchange.com. So take that for whatever this website is. It was nominated for an Annie Award for Best Animated Television Production for a Children's Audience, especially produced for ages 6 through 12. It's pretty much almost spot on to what Joe said.
Yeah. I think, in and around 6, like it's, you maybe like the art, but I feel like some of the humor and stuff is a little bit too out there that you're just like, I don't get this. But once you get a little bit older and like can kind of understand a little bit of like just wacky non sequiturs, you're just like, yeah, this is great.
Especially when you're just so high out of your mind.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean I've never like encountered a child that's like seen this show and has been like just ever, but I have a lot of adult friends that we were in like our late 20s, early 30s, and they were like, Adventure Time is so good, and I'm like, yeah, but you're a pothead.
Yeah, I've only known potheads who watch this show, but I don't hang out with a ton of 6-year-olds.
That's probably for the best.
Apparently, this show is supposedly set in a post-apocalyptic setting, according to the creator.
I mean, there's not very many other humans around, so...
I guess that makes sense. Pendleton Ward is the series creator.
It's the creator, yeah.
Makes sense. You got anything, Jimmy?
It's good.
good show. Give me more.
Watch Adventure Time.
Yeah, I've never thought
That's
about.
silly.
I've honestly just never even thought about it. It's like obviously appeal towards kids, but it just makes sense. Like kids don't need this like extreme like deep plot, Like kids understand like, oh no, there's zombies. Oh, they're like trying to trick them. Oh, they saved the day. Like that's pretty much good for a 6 through 12-year-old, and then an adult can watch it and like get it. I mean, like. Finn yells stuff like mathematical and and they say just like random stuff, which is like very Sesame Street and very like, kids programming. Just like it doesn't need to like follow any form of rules.
Mm-hmm.
A random giant sentient gumball machine can show up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's just fun for an adult to watch it. And it does. I know eventually, like, there are episodes that definitely, like, tackle some hard shit, you know, and do stuff. But at the same time, it's still just like, let's go on an adventure. We're going to go to, like, the space wars today or whatever.
Let's do the Space Wars.
There's something about this show that gives me a little Rick and Morty vibe, but like even more like zany and not like a real full. Like the plot's real loose in this show.
You mean to say there's something about Rick and Morty that gives you an Adventure Time vibe?
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
It would predate. Yeah.
I told Joe this. Jimmy, I think you heard me.
Wasn't listening.
Well, I screwed up your predictions then. I just said in this episode we met Finn the human, Jake the dog. We met Princess Bubblegum. Very briefly, you guys saw Tree Trunks, who was a little yellow elephant.
Yeah, who's carrying hot buns.
Yeah, carrying her hot buns. But then there's a couple other main-ish characters that I didn't remember whether or not they were in this episode. And there's the Ice King, who is like kind of in a way like the bad guy, as much as like a kid show has a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And is he Princess Gumball's father then, or is that not, or Bubblegum?
I couldn't confirm or deny that.
Okay.
Just can be a different kingdom.
Sure. Many kingdoms.
He definitely doesn't live in the Bubblegum
in
Kingdom.
Westeros.
I can tell you that. He has like an ice mountain or whatever. There's BMO, which is just BMO, I believe is how to spell it. He's essentially a sentient Game Boy.
Nice.
And then there is Marceline, who's like a teenage emo vampire. So those are the main like or like reoccurring characters that are in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Lady Reindeer. What's her name?
Rainicorn?
Rainicorn.
Yeah. I really think that rainbowy unicorn thing is technically Jake's girlfriend, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's eventual. We all fall in love with reindeer unicorns eventually.
It might be just a little on and off, not really official.
Just fling. On again, off again.
They're just each other's side pieces.
Will they, won't they? This is Ross and Rachel.
I'm into it. I think this, now that you've enlightened me, Joe, I think the show just does such a good job of encompassing all ages and is good for it. I highly suggest anyone that hasn't seen this show to watch this.
The animation alone, it's cool and it's silly and like definitely geared towards younger kids. I feel
it's like cute and they do like they wiggle their arms and they just kind of turn into like spaghetti noodles.
Yeah.
Or what was that? There was like a groundskeeper at the end and he was just munching. Yeah. That's like an adult joke that no kid would really like fully understand why it's funny kind of thing. But like he was like biting Finn's leg and Finn was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Human flesh is just so good." And it's just like, it's funny that he's biting him. You know, that's kind of like a kid thing.
And then he picks him up and then he farts.
Oh yeah.
And that's
don't
the end.
squeeze me. I'm going to fart. And that was the end of the episode. When he farted. Should we get into predictions?
Yeah.
Because we got a long one ahead of us.
How many farts in this episode? Under farts?
I'm not sure. I'm going to go first this time. I included the Ice King in my predictions, even though we didn't see him in here. I think the Ice King becomes the Nice King.
Ooh. Okay.
I think it's just two there. It's right there.
Like, does he have to be nice or does he have to be the king of being nice?
We'll find out.
Okay.
What's your prediction?
Yeah.
I think Princess Bubblegum rides a dinosaur.
Excellent.
I think Jake the dog realizes or like becomes a god.
Okay.
I think Finn saves people from a large octopus.
Octopus monster.
And then I did 5. I think there's a group musical number.
Fun.
Okay.
So, are any of these based on anything? Or are you just
No, they're based on
pulling
the fact
these?
that I think literally any random thing can happen in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
this is a 45-minute episode. So I think if you can dream it, it may happen in this one.
Probably will.
Just because just like what happened in 11 minutes that we just watched, you know?
Yeah.
So those are mine.
I want to go next because I got some similarities.
What?
Number one,
Interesting.
word for word, Jake is a god.
What?
What the hell? You guys
No
both
way.
got
I don't know.
God vibe. out of
I
Jake,
think
huh?
he becomes a god. Number two, Finn sings a song.
That's pretty
Like a
similar.
musical number.
I hope some people do it with him.
And then it trails off from there. I have there's a werewolf.
Okay.
Just think, of mystical creatures we see. I think a werewolf would be good for it.
Yeah.
And then last one, I don't know if it's a prediction or a wish, but I think there's a sword battle.
That's a wish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose it's the finale. There's got to be some big showdown.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I hope he fights an octopus that has 8 swords.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's
Okay.
will this into happening.
All right. My number one is I think Jake is married to Lady Rainicorn. I think they are one flesh.
Oh, God.
The number two, I think Jake dies.
Oh no.
I think Jake has some sort of
Jimmy, you can't kill a god.
Yeah.
I
Gods don't
didn't
die.
say. Well, I didn't predict he was a god. Also, yes, you can.
God's not dead.
Number three.
He's surely alive.
What's that guy's?
Kevin Sorbo?
Is he in that?
Yeah, he's
That's
like the
not Who I
professor.
was thinking of. Isn't Kirk Cameron? Oh, that's the other one.
That's
series.
Left Behind.
That's Left Behind. Okay. Number three. I think I totally forgot about the Ice King. I wrote that we have a baddie and he's like an evil chocolate, which I'm realizing now is just like Count Chocula. But I wrote evil chocolate baddie.
Yum.
I mean, if you would have wrote an evil chocolate vampire, you would have been exactly describing Count Chocula.
Right. And then my last one is that Finn saves Princess Bubblegum. I think maybe Chocolate Baddie has the princess, and Finn is his goal is to rescue her.
As he should rescue her.
Over under 2.5 farts.
I'll take the under.
I'll go over 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going over.
All right. Okay, so we're going to watch the last episode. I think it's a compilation of 4 episodes total.
Sure.
It's 45 minutes long, so it's just like a regular episode of TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's called... No, there goes my phone. It's called Come Along With Me, which is, I believe, the ending song when the show ends. It's the song they sing. So
Nice.
or
That's not Sarah Jones.
it's the very first
Sarah
words
Jones?
they say in
Nora
the ending
Jones.
song. Okay, we're done. We'll be back after the finale of Adventure Time. And we're back. We are done with the finale of Adventure Time. It was called Come Along With Me. Jimmy, do you have a write-up?
Here's what I'm settling for, because the Wikipedia version is real long because it's a 45-minute long episode, and this show is normally 11 minutes, and about 1 million things happens in that time. So BMO narrates the Great Gum War, in which Finn, Jake, Marceline, is that how we're pronouncing that?
Marceline.
PB, Princess Bubblegum. I was going to say peanut butter. That's not right. PB and the Candy Kingdom go to war against Gumbald and his army that will determine the fate of Ooh once and for all. So we got a fun little like thing at the beginning. Is it Shermie and Beth?
Shermie and Beth.
I think maybe. And it's like this. We're in this in the future, and they're having a little adventure. And I'm like, oh crap! Is no one in this?
Yeah, everybody's
anymore. and then we back up. They meet BMO, who's apparently like the king.
BMO.
They said they were going to go see like the king. And then they went, and it was BMO, which is pretty crazy. And then BMO just explains the Great Gum War that happened a long time ago, apparently.
What was and then so there's definitely things that you have to watch the show to know that I don't know. It's like the Ice King used to be like just a dude named Simon.
Yep.
And he had presumably a wife named Betty, played by Felicia Day.
Nice.
And Betty came to she was trying to take control of Golb. Was that what its name was?
Golb.
Golb. Golb.
I believe so.
Trying to take over Golb to rid the world to harness his power to like save Simon, essentially.
Some sort of like all powerful being.
And so then the Gum War came, like everyone trying to save the world from Golb. And then Finn, during that too, Finn had like laid down some sort of sleeping trap, so then everybody in all the generals of the war were asleep.
Yeah, nightmare juice is what it was. And it knocked them all unconscious, and it brought them to a dream world.
Oh God, the show's fantastic. Yeah, and so they went there, and they kind of like they thought they had solved their differences, but then what was his Gumbald?
Gumbald, yeah.
He obviously was going to double cross her, and then it looked like, I don't know, Gumbald's wife or somebody tripped him, and he spilled some nightmare juice or whatever on himself, and then turned into like a cocktail drink and ran away. Then they made a truce, and then Golb showed up, and then they worked to defeat Golb, and in the end, I think Betty became Golb. Right? Is that kind of what you guys thought?
That's what she wished.
Yeah,
she was trying to wish to.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were inside of Golb, and she could use the crown to wish.
Yeah.
And then she was initially trying to like wish Golb like had gone away or something, or wish Golb had disappeared. But then she figured out, I forget the actual wish she made. It was
she wished to be able to like protect Simon forever, something like that.
Right. That was.
I don't know if that was exactly her words.
It wasn't to make Golb go away, but to like be able to protect. And so it manifested itself in that she became Golb now.
Yeah,
like Lady Golb
stuff.
Lady Betty Golb, and in a way that like Simon could see that now Golb was Betty and Betty was Golb. And he was like, "Oh, Betty." And then she flew back through some sort of temporal hole, black hole.
And then there was like another side person that matters to the end of the episode. Then was his name Vern?
Fern.
Or was it Fern?
I think it was Fern.
I couldn't tell if they were being right on the nose
Finn
and just
and
calling
Fern.
him Fern, or they were calling
100%.
him V with Vern, as in like it's kind of like Fern, but
like a name.
But it's a name. So Fern was like, I don't know, like almost like a Finn's doppelganger made out of plants.
Yep.
Perfect.
And Fern stuff happened to make Fern like basically lose his body at the end, and so
he was like embodied by some sort of demon, some sort of grass demon, and Finn somehow separated him and destroyed the grass demon, and then Fern was like, now
are you talking about that like
dying.
Weird like
he pulled
green,
some sort of alien
mini
grass
octopus
alien
thing
off of him, and then he's like, and in like 2 lines explained, oh, you're why Fern is bad, basically.
But he was like, but I'm the reason that Fern has a body or something like that.
Yeah. And then after that, Fern was disintegrating.
Let's come up later, but I will argue that was potentially some sort of octopus creature.
Looked like it had some tentacles, yeah.
I literally just thought about that right now. I was like, that thing kind of looked like an octopus.
Kind of looked like the aliens from The Simpsons.
Yeah, a little bit.
But with grass.
And those look like alien octopuses.
They do.
But he planted Fern's seed by the treehouse, right? Well, he said he wanted to see the treehouse again. Treehouse, by the way, is like where they that was like their headquarters where they lived.
That seemed, yeah.
And they must have planted it, and that was thousands of years ago. So then Shermie and Beth went after BMO had told them that story. They were like, we want to find this tree. So they went and found, presumably, I think, Fern's seed tree.
Right.
And then at the top of it was a sword.
Yep.
And then Beth raised it up, kind of. It's like, put it above your head. And then it ended after she did it.
Yeah. So is like the new Adventure Time just following Shermie and Beth maybe or something?
I don't know anything about the new Adventure Time. Right?
Because it seems like that's what was happening.
I mean,
I was into them, honestly.
Yeah, they were kind of fun. Maybe it's just
Shermie was
maybe
like,
it's just like, it's the end of a show. You just got to say like your hero's adventure that you've seen is officially over because they like picked up their sword or something like that.
Yeah.
So even if Shermie and Beth are never around, it doesn't matter.
Do you know which one was with which?
I think Shermie was the big yellow Jake
with the magic belly button.
Yeah, I think that was Shermie.
He's like conjuring things through his belly button. And
I
then
like weirdly didn't like that. Like
it
made me feel weird.
Yeah. And then but Beth then was like a little like rodent.
Yeah, she's like a little mouse
marsupial something, and that was kind of fun. They had like their own kind of treehouse thing, and she just rode Shermie around and then like hopped up into her little like area of the. It reminded me of our friends like Chinchilla back in the day. Kind of a little like it's like a little cage world, and by little I mean it was massive.
Giant cage world.
Giant cage, but little world.
Hmm.
Maybe she was a chinchilla. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
What
I
else?
was maybe
Anything
gonna
else?
look that up, and then I stopped.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of weird things happened.
A lot weirder this time around.
Yeah.
I mean, and not just that, it was a 4-parter, so there, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on, but just like everything in Dreamworld was just like stuff just melting around, and like by the time you figure out what is going on in one scene, it switches to the next thing because it's just a dream.
Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to like think, like kind of attach what we had said in episode 1 about it being like 6 to 12-year-olds, and then kind of trying to push that onto my like thoughts while watching this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me had a really hard time going, this is for kids now.
Yeah, for sure. Not
I feel
so
like
much
it
anymore.
very much flipped. I mean, it's still a lot of like fun, and also I'm just like, I mean, I watched like Ninja Turtles and like freaking Iron Man, and like that was like dark and stuff, and
I don't think any of this was inappropriate for children.
No.
I just don't think that kids would be into it as much, just because it's very heady and a lot of just like weird stuff.
They would really just have to be into like the visuals, and
There's a lot
like,
more to
going
follow now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, as far as the visuals go, I mean, I kind of feel like some of this stuff, maybe it's because it was trying to be like, this is the end of the world, blah, 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 but it was like darker.
Mm-hmm.
Not in color per se, but like, because it was the most colorful thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the depiction, like some of those things like died.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a darker thing.
Well, my favorite thing in the episode was,
oh God, yeah. Well,
this character Lemon Grab, who like deduces just some creation of Princess Bubblegum, and this is like at the start of the war, and like the other side is just kind of gearing up, and it looks intimidating. And Lemon Grab like pulls out a piece of paper and writes a note and shows it to Princess Bubblegum, and she opens it up and it just says "Unmake Me,"
Oh man.
and I laughed pretty hard at that. Just
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
like one of the harder like immediate like you couldn't even hold it back.
Yeah.
You thought it was so funny so fast.
it's pretty good.
I think it surprised even you.
yeah, I was caught off guard by.
Unmake me.
Some good dark humor.
Well, because I think, and this is bad memory, but like Lemon Grab is in a first episode, but then there becomes like, I don't know if he gets cloned or like a new one is born, but then there's like Lemon Grab 2 and Lemon Grab 3. So I don't know how that works, but I think this one isn't the original Lemon Grab, and therefore I think somehow like maybe a creation of Princess Bubblegum.
Gotcha.
Huh.
But I've seen some Lemon Grab episodes, but years and years and years ago, so I wouldn't remember. I just remember he just is such. I mean, Jimmy, you were talking about Rick and Morty in the first one, and that's Justin Roiland who plays Morty, obviously. But like, he's such like a Rick and Morty. That's like just a weird Rick and Morty character that's like put in the middle of like the show,
right?
Because that's like Mr. like. What's that banana from the one from like a couple seasons ago in Rick and Morty? Like
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Oh, you mean Mr. Poopy Butthole?
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't come up with that name.
I could see Lemon Grab and Mr. Poopy Butthole. Wow, that's hard to say quickly. Mr. Okay. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I could see them cameoing. Cameoing. Is that a word? In
Finish a sentence.
each other's in each of these shows, like having some cross universe. Like for sure, in Rick and Morty, they're like on some planet and they walk by, and Lemon Grab is like in the background.
But even what's funny is even though how like dark like an Adventure Time episode like this one could feel, I don't think they'd ever have a character named as vulgar as Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Well,
like you don't know. Like, it's just so silly where it's like, man, some of this crap is like fucking, like, it hurts me for some reason. It's like weird children's animation. This is messed up. And then it's like, but they wouldn't say Mr. Poopy Butthole in Adventure Time. I bet they say poopy.
Sure.
Plausible. They said fart.
They did say fart.
One time. And, is it Beth? I forget again. I already forgot which one we decided which was which, but one of them was like, "My knots suck," which I feel like
was that the mouse one? That was Beth that said it, right?
Yeah, it was at the beginning. It was in the future aspect, and it was. I thought to myself like during that, I was like, you can't just say things suck in a show that's meant for like 2 to 6 year olds or whatever it is. Like a lot of parents be like, man, like I'm trying to get my kid to not say that things suck.
I think I'd let my kid say something sucks.
I don't need my 3-year-old walking around the grocery store saying this sucks.
I'd rather have my kid say like, I don't want to eat spaghetti. Spaghetti sucks. Because number one, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Spaghetti rules.
Number two, it's way better than when
also,
you go,
kid,
hey,
you're an idiot. The spaghetti rules.
Hey, little Lemon Grab, do you want to have spaghetti tonight? And they're like, fuck that shit.
Like Will Ferrell's kid.
Oh.
I've seen those funnier die bits of Will Ferrell.
The landlord,
like,
whatever?
Yeah, like the landlord.
Yeah. You know what he's talking about, Joe?
I didn't realize that was his kid.
That was his.
Oh, I didn't know that's actually Will Ferrell's kid.
And then at some point they're like, we have to stop because she's at the age where she's gonna remember this.
Yeah, she's registering. Man, I didn't know that was Will Ferrell's kid, but that makes way more sense. It's way weirder if they just like got some other 2-year-old to like do this skit with them.
I'm like 95%, unless it's like because there's that another guy in those skits could be his, but I'm pretty sure it's Will Ferrell's daughter.
It's a kid of someone who's on camera.
It's got to be, or else call the cops.
Call the cops.
I mean, by now that kid's like what, teenager?
You know what? I don't want spaghetti. Spaghetti sucks.
Spaghetti's rules.
How
you don't know what you're talking
dare
about.
you?
I love spaghetti. I'm about to tell a story really quick.
Yeah.
But I really like spaghetti. Spaghetti's awesome.
Underrated.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah.
I would agree. As an
Thank
adult,
you,
recently,
Pasta Pals.
I feel like I make a mad spaghetti. Gets artichokes in it.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. But I remember being a kid, and I think my mom wanted to have was like, I'm gonna make dinner tonight. I'm gonna make spaghetti, and for some reason, I didn't want spaghetti that night. This is 25 years ago. Who knows why I didn't want spaghetti? I didn't want spaghetti, and I told my mom I don't like spaghetti. You know, which is not true, and I'm sure she knew it wasn't true at the time, but she was like, okay, fine, you don't like spaghetti. And then for the rest of my childhood, I knew enough that I said I committed to this lie, and now anytime spaghetti was brought up, I didn't like spaghetti anymore. So I feel like there was like 5 years that I just didn't get to eat spaghetti because I didn't want it one night, and I told my mom I hate spaghetti.
You were just committing to the bit.
I had to. I can't just hate spaghetti one night and like it again the next.
I would be hypocritical. Not a liar.
I think I was like in my 20s when I was finally like, Mom, I like spaghetti.
And she just dropped a plate of food on the floor.
She hit me.
What? She struck you. Also, you went... That's way too long to go without spaghetti.
Agree.
And you did that. So let this be a lesson to you, listeners.
I was full of pride.
Eat spaghetti.
I was full
Pasta
of pride.
Pals.
Yeah, I mean, of
The
course.
truth comes out. The pasta truth
Yeah,
always comes out.
the pasta truth.
I feel like I still don't like SpaghettiOs. If someone were to offer me a can of SpaghettiOs.
They shouldn't even share the spaghetti name.
Yeah.
I will
really
agree.
bastardizing.
I will agree they are
The
two
spaghetti.
extremely different kinds of foods. That being said, you give me a can of SpaghettiOs and meatballs, and I will be into it.
I don't know why SpaghettiOs, it's whatever, it's Chef Birdie, it's cheap and it's what you'd expect. But like, to me, thinking about just a can of spaghetti seems really weird.
Why
is that weird?
Not as good, but I would have some Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs as well.
That is a thing.
Oh, it's been a thing since we were kids.
It's like in a can.
Yeah, it's just like SpaghettiOs, but instead of O's,
Not in
spaghetti.
O form.
Yeah, it's just like short spaghetti strands. It's fucking terrible, of course, but like, I love it.
That sounds weird.
As a
Can't do it.
I'll tell you right now,
do it.
I'm 36 and I've had one this year.
Amazing.
A spaghetti and meatballs, SpaghettiOs and meatballs.
Okay.
I don't purposely buy this Chef Boyardee spaghetti meatballs.
Okay.
The O's and balls.
Said balls too much.
That's probably true. Do we got any final thoughts on Adventure Time?
I mean, like, I wonder if it's a gradual shift from, preteen focus to stoner focus, or if it just kind of the switch flips at some point and they're just like, okay, we know our audience, like, let's just lean into this.
I mean, they were already on Cartoon Network, so it's kind of like you're already Cartoon Network. Depending on what time of night they're on, you see where they probably should be leaning. And I'm assuming it was Adult Swim the whole time.
Yeah, I think so. I read they had their short on Nickelodeon, and then it didn't get picked up, and it ended up on YouTube and went viral, and then Adult Swim picked it up, Cartoon Network picked it up. So I think the whole run was on there, but I could see that. I could see it going. This is like 250. What is it?
83.
283. Good Lord. I could see it being more of a slow burn towards a slow shift into craziness, just because that's just too many episodes. like you're gonna get, I think, no matter what show you are, you're gonna get more off the rails. Otherwise, what are you doing?
I mean,
at a certain point.
Yeah, I think no matter what, it obviously definitely held its just complete ability to just throw out something completely random at any moment. I mean, it definitely did that in the first episode, and it was like it head dove into it in this one. So,
but there was a totally a different feel for sure. Like, nobody died in the first episode. Even the undead things.
Well, they all died.
All lived.
I mean, they ended them and then they brought them all back.
It all ended happy. This episode did not, and most of it was like a war.
Oh, I mean, also, I guess we never even mentioned it. Sorry, Finn was missing an arm.
Oh yeah,
At some point in this whole series, Finn loses an arm, and it stays off. You know,
right?
It's not like his arm gets cut off in the middle of episode, and they go meet the magic arm wizard, which is probably the name of somebody in the show,
for sure.
And he gets like a metal arm, and that was kind of the catalyst, actually, of them going to find BMO, or the King of O. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, let's go ask the King of Ooh about this metal arm we found.
He'll probably know. That's what you do. You know when you find something, you go, I'll just ask the highest official in the land. I bet they'll remember.
I'm sure they're not busy.
It's like saying I found like a pencil on the ground and I got to go ask Joe Biden if he knows what's up with it.
I'm sure he's got a story about the pencil.
He might sit me down and tell me a story at least.
Oh, for sure.
But, man, I feel like I had something else to say, but I don't remember.
Just tack it on later in post.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, Joe, how this you're the one that's the freshest. So like, how reliably do you think you're going to go back and watch some more episodes?
Not reliably. I think I understand.
Yeah.
But there just weren't enough of those lemon grab jokes that grabbed me. I feel like if there were more of those,
there wasn't enough unmake me notes.
Yeah, I feel like if there were just more just straight up jokes, I think I would like it more. But then, like, am I just asking for Rick and Morty then?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if lemon grab was like your favorite thing, maybe you are just leaning more towards Rick and Morty.
Like, I feel like if you're gonna watch this show, like, you're just gonna accept for what it is. Like, this with more jokes was Rick and Morty. This with more just like straightforward kid stuff is, I mean, it's still
Rugrats.
Yeah. On the scale of Rugrats or Angry Beavers or something.
Oh man, nice.
Angry Beavers.
Forgot about that.
Jimmy?
Cat dog? Dog cat? What was it?
Cat
dog, yeah. Super into it. I wonder if because this is the finale, if it is a little more adventure, a little less jokes, like if other episodes would just be a little less like high stakes, that maybe there was more jokes. But also I think there was just the jokes they were very much more subtle. But it is wacky, and you could burn through this show at 11 minutes an episode. So like, that's, I mean, if you're just looking for something to turn on, I've been watching Game of Thrones, and you could watch 5 of these episodes in one. So, I think there's something fun about that.
Yeah,
it's just wacky.
Maybe I probably maybe seen 50 total episodes of the show ever, and I would like to make that 283.
All right,
because I'm into it.
All right, get it done.
Yeah. Predictions? I went first, so I guess I should go first again. My first one is the Ice King becomes the Nice King. I really wanted them to call him the Nice King. He turned into Simon, whoever that is.
Yeah. He honestly didn't seem bad, like, from the get-go.
He seemed like he was nice, yeah. He was definitely a bad guy figure in a lot, but...
Sure.
I wanted them to call him the Nice King. I'm just going to be honest with what I wanted. So, Princess Bubblegum rides a dinosaur. That did not happen. Jake the dog realizes he's a god. That doesn't seem to be applicable. Finn saves... damn it. Finn saves people from a large octopus monster. And I think categorically that was not a large octopus monster. And he would have only saved person in reality, really, right?
Yeah.
So...
And honestly, it actually killed the guy. by
yeah. So he did terrible job. But I do have a point, and I will take it for there's a group musical number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Definitely
they
was.
all sang a song. Like everybody sang a song together to
Not
destroy
everybody.
Gulp. Well, okay. Well, I got 1 point, and Joe, maybe you can fill us in.
Yeah. So I also had that Jake is a god. Very specific, but no. I had that Finn sings a song, and in that musical number, pretty much all of the characters except for like Finn and whoever else was trapped
Simon
inside,
and Betty.
yeah, did not sing because they were trapped. So just missed that one. I was hoping he would like get out and like be like, oh, I know this
Join.
song.
Yeah, and he even like talked about the song later,
Mm-hmm.
and they still didn't sing.
Yeah.
Could have been a reprise.
I said there's a werewolf and there were some beast-like things. There was one thing that kind of, I was like, maybe I could turn this into a werewolf, but I think it was more of like a bear that Finn had turned into in the dream, but I don't think anything was quite close enough to a werewolf. And then sword battle, there were parts where Fern had pulled out like a leaf sword and was using it to fight, but I think a sword battle implies sword on sword contact.
Yeah, there's some sort of clank.
Yeah,
Sword
so-
on
He
sword
never
action.
used his Fern sword against another sword.
Yeah.
And then at
Did
the
he
end, Beth did grab a sword as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were swords and there was a battle, but then like the actual battle did not end up between like the two battalions. What is the armies? There we go. Armies.
I think either one
It
of those
ended up-
works.
It ended up a bunch of the main characters versus this weird Golb's like weird monster that he made,
Gulb.
who did not have weapons.
So that's 0 points.
Bummer,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree.
I will say too, that just made me think of like there was a million characters. There easily could have been a werewolf. Some people were just popping in for like a one-liner, like, "Hey, remember me?" And then they moved on.
Yeah, well, they did do the whole like they sang another song later and then did a montage of just what everyone was like kind of up to,
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like a
right.
kind of
vlog.
thing. Also,
Oh yeah, was that a clip show?
no, I don't think that was clips.
Yeah, I think it was an epilogue.
I think it was just an epilogue
Yeah, cool.
of, and that's what they should do. Jamie's phone.
There's a hole in this chair.
That's what they should do in a lot of shows. I think that's instead of saying like "thank you for watching," it's always nice to have like some sort of montage with that that isn't just a reprise of shows you've seen already.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it.
Loose ends.
I really enjoyed it. It made it feel like a finale in that way, at least.
Cool.
But it did seem kind of fun. Like if, like I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
But
no,
if
me
I were
neither.
like invested in the show and I know all these characters, like, oh, there's that person over there fighting this thing. I don't know. It seemed like it could be fun. Okay, my number one was Jake is married to Lady Rainicorn. I would say inconclusive.
Yeah, who knows?
They hung out for a second in, I think, the dream world and were actually some sort of being.
They were one.
They were actually one flesh. Then Jake dies, which is maybe technically true because it was like 1,000 years later.
Because they all died eventually.
Because no one was alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Except
Jake. I mean, Jake died.
Yeah.
He wasn't alive.
So, okay.
He didn't get. I mean, he didn't get murdered. If that's what you were looking for.
I just said Jake dies.
Okay.
Then I was hoping for an evil chocolate baddie. I don't think Golb was made of chocolate.
I would
Or
not
any
think
sort
so.
of confection.
If anything, like a red velvet cake,
I like
which
red
is
velvet.
chocolatey technically,
Yeah,
but
technically, right?
but that's if anything. It's still inconclusive.
Yeah, I doubt he's chocolate. And then I thought Finn would save the princess, but really it was Finn did not help that much. Really,
no, he helped with the overall savior scenario, but Marceline technically is the one that saved the princess.
Marceline. Oh yeah, and they were like girlfriend and girlfriend.
They smooched. It was awesome.
They smooched.
Also, I mean, for some reason, probably weird for a kid show, but like
Yeah.
Fuck you, parents that think that's weird.
Hey, Disney's getting into it, so it's got to be normalizing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I got a technical 1 point.
All right. I'll count it. Okay. Well, that's episode 201. We still haven't done Bonanza. I just remembered that.
Oh man.
We'll get there. But thank you for listening, listeners. It's a redundant sentence that I just said. If you would like to make show suggestions or just get a hold of us, you can at F&L Podcast on the Gmail or on the Twitter. But until then, we will see you. We'll see you next week for another episode of First and Last. Goodbye. Bye.
I was like, should I say bye for just the next